Dancing Rabbit, and welcome to another weekend pagan perspective. It's a nice, chilly, cloudy, breezy day here in Houston. This is about the third cool front of the year, and you can definitely feel the wheel of the year turning toward the darker side. Dark in a good way. I'm going to be recording all of October's videos today, and so if I repeat some of what the other hosts say, it's not on purpose. Okay, today's question for October 6th has to do with teaching and games. As a professional educator, as someone who's spent most of my adult life in the classroom teaching, I am definitely in favor of using games to teach. Whether they are games, simulations, contests, board games, small group games, or online computer games. I also spent about 15 years in Boy Scouts of America, both as a volunteer and as a professional, and am really sold on the idea of what's called gamification. Taking something and turning it into a game, or using a game to teach something. In fact, turning the whole program into one humongous, interlocked, complicated game. So, that being said, the question has to do with teaching a lesson about paganism or Wicca, and using a game doing that. I guess it would maybe be useful if you were holding a small Wicca 101 class, or if you were maybe doing it in some sort of a teaching coven where you were the expert teacher and you had a number of students to set up some kind of game. You know, if you were teaching strictly knowledge, like say the basic altar tools in Wicca, it would probably be, fun and useful to do something like Kim's game. If you were maybe teaching how to cast a circle, I don't know, that might lend itself to sort of a game. If you were teaching maybe relationship to nature, there's all sorts of scouting type games and activities that would be useful, say, in leaf identification, tree identification, tracking, and that sort of thing, outdoorsy kind of skills. But if you're teaching pretty much one-on-one, and that's the impression I got because you were asking about teaching your friend a lesson, and you were concerned about possibly hurting your friend or hurting your friend's feelings. I'm really not sure how a game would work kind of one-on-one. You didn't exactly say, but I got the impression that what you're talking about was not using a game to teach strictly factual knowledge or an application, but you were using a game to teach some sort of life lesson. And I think that that really borders on what's called mind games, which are kind of manipulative things where you feel like somebody needs to learn patience. So you put them in a situation where they become impatient, and somehow as a result of that, you teach them that they needed to learn patience. I'd be really careful with that kind of thing because it really presumes a lot of stuff, and I think that that may be what you're actually talking about, setting up some kind of a life lesson game. Now, if you're in a group and you want to teach a life lesson like, say, responsibility, I think the scouting method of saying, okay, we're going on a camp out and we're going to eat food, and so we have to cook it. And so somebody's responsible for fire building, somebody's responsible for cooking, somebody's responsible for cleaning up. And if you don't fulfill your responsibility, then the group has no food to eat or no clean dishes to cook next meal on. Now, that sort of gaming, I think, would be okay in teaching a life lesson because it's all very positive. But to set up some kind of manipulative, I'm going to teach this person a lesson, I think really presumes a whole lot, and I don't see that it would have a good end, and there's a whole lot better, easier ways to do that. I guess part of my bias on that is really the way that I came up in paganism. I didn't have a teacher or a sort of guru person who took me under their wing and taught me paganism. I was not part of a coven, whether a teaching coven or a more traditional coven. What I learned pretty much on my own, learned with feather, learned from books, learned by occasionally talking with people, and basically learned by doing it. What worked, I kept. What kind of didn't work, didn't resonate, I didn't keep. And that's really how both Feather and I have learned paganism. So, I don't have any experience as being taught paganism through games, though certain types of games I can see how it might work, particularly in a group situation. Well, it's getting even cooler and seems like I have on much less warm clothes than I thought I was going to need. So I'm rambling, repeating, and shivering. So let me wrap this one up, get warmed up, put on a little more clothes, and do the next video. So till next week, Dancing Rabbit, wishing all of you much, much peace.